Showdown breakdown time. What's going on, everyone? We've got a big one for Monday Night Football. Lions at the Ravens. Offensive explosion getting ready to happen. Bobbywow's here with me to break it all down. Bobbywow, I'm expecting a lot more excitement on Monday night than what we saw on Sunday night, I'll tell you right now.
Yes, let's hope so.
That game was boring. Russell Wilson, brutal to watch.
Ugh. Even the Chiefs, man, even the Chiefs are kind of a boring brand of football these last couple of years.
The Chiefs are brutal to watch.
Yeah.
We got to now accept the reality of some of these teams. We're starting to see things come together. We had a lot going on this weekend. A lot of clarity was dished out. We've got some situations that are getting figured out. We've got the Bears, your beloved team, figuring out the offense, which of course was going to take a few weeks for them to get on board. Yes, CeeDee Lamb got hurt. It hurt a lot of lineups yesterday. But you know what? That's why you should be building multiple versions of these lineups. You know, the Caleb Stacks without Lamb on the bring back did incredibly well.
Yes, they did.
And, you know, there's no predicting a guy getting hurt like that. But that's going to happen. That's going to happen. You know what else happens sometimes? Oh, shit. Bobbywow, second place.
Oh,
first place. Oh, no. What would Bobbywow do? What would he do?
And Binks in third.
And Buddy Binks. So you can't see it here, but Army everywhere on the pocket mini cups. I got another ticket. That's right. That's me up top. And Bobbywow chasing,
man.
You almost got there, Bobbywow.
What a lineup. 214, man.
Look. So this was, remember I kept telling you, I can't figure out who to stack May with. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to do it with
Yes.
Hunter Henry. We had this conversation. It must have been, we said it on Tournament Tactics too. Like we had this conversation about May. I'm like, I don't know what to stack him with. Fuck it. I'm just going Hunter Henry. And it worked out rather nicely. Got Cole Pearsall in there, Puka. We see Puka everywhere. This is what it looked like. And that's with a Barkley turd in the lineup. Imagine I didn't have it. But the key was, of course, yesterday, Vikings and defenses did dominate yesterday.
Yes,
a reminder. So, Bobbywow, tonight, I don't see that happening.
No.
Yeah. This is offensive explosion bonanza showdown time. And I'm excited for this one. I love some offense. What the hell is this Giants game? Get out of here. Baltimore, Detroit. Yeah, I love to see offense. I like being able to get crazy, and we're going to get crazy tonight.
We are going to get crazy. And we saw, it was, I think, Ravens-Bills, right? Week 1, open the season on a showdown. The game was 41-40 or something like that. I think this is another similar type of game. I think the Lions, in some ways, have some comparisons to the Bills offensively. So I like you said, I think this is going to be an explosion. Yeah,
and this offense coming from everywhere. Lions defense not that good, and especially not that good on the road. And Baltimore defense is not the kind of defense that generally is going to be able to shut down a team like the Lions. So there is just a setup tonight for a fantasy points bonanza. And we'll get into a little bit of some of these numbers. Let's get into it. But like on the Ravens side, it's really, is it a Derrick Henry day? Is it a Lamar day? This one could go either way.
Derrick was, man, he had that fumble a couple weeks ago, right, to lose the game. And then last week, I think everyone was expecting him, myself included, to put up a massive game, and he absolutely stunk. That's terrible.
No, it's time to accept that you don't want to play running backs against the Browns. That is just the thing that is going to continue all season long. Do not play running backs against the Browns. And by the way, even Josh Jacobs yesterday, and he had an acceptable score. It was all from receptions. They did not even almost barely bother to try to run it against them. There is something going on with that Browns run defense that's really, really good.
Yeah, what a shame to see the Packers lose that way.
The blocked punt, the blocked field goal. Oh, so brutal. That actually destroyed a very important suck-a-bet parlay of mine, Bobbywow. It was very upsetting.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one got me. That, and of course, I had New England winning the game, and they fumbled it away. How many fumbles can you give? It's like the sports betting gods knew that I bet on that game, and they just kept making them fumble every time they were driving towards the end zone. I was like, I'm so right about this bet. I'm good at betting. And then every time it's just fumble. I'm like, no way. They're still going to get it. A second fumble. It was nuts, Bobbywow. But I do have to share something with you before we get into this extreme breakdown. So even with the loss on my sucker bet parlay, which lost, I lost $100. And even with the loss on the bet on the Patriots, which I lost $150, I was up 700 betting yesterday, all through arbing. So I made $950 doing the betting arbs on the Sharp app, and then recovered the $250 that I lost on my real sort of like risk bets, and still made a massive profit. It was unbelievable. I have to share it. Look at these. Look at these. Chicago money line, Dallas money line. Made $20. That's how arbing is going. It's just like you bet both. Here, Miles Sanders, Herbert passing yards, win 387, lose 325, net $50. This was all day.
That's an insane. There was a couple insane ones like that.
There were much better ones even. There was one that both sides are plus money. The arbs are insane. Guys, if you want to check out arbitrage betting, if you're in a state where you can bet on sports books, I strongly advise go to sharp.app, use my code GEEK, get a 1-week free trial to check out live in-game arbitrage betting. There is nothing like it. It is a money printer. And if you don't like it, it's a free trial. Get out. I'm doing demos. I have live demos on my Twitter account. That $900, Bobbywow, I made that live in stream while live streaming that I was doing it.
Yes, it was awesome.
Yeah, live in stream. So guys, check it out. I will teach you how to do it. If you don't know, watch my streams. I've done one on Saturday. I did one on Sunday. Sharp.app, code GEEK, or you go sharp.app/geek to just activate the 7-day free trial. It is a mistake if you're not doing this. It's take the money back from the sportsbook, guys. I lost money on DraftKings yesterday with all of that, but I made it back. Now I'm up on the day because of that. Like DFS, I did not profit, even though I got the ticket. Didn't profit, but because of the arbs, and I took my money from my bets back. I took my money from my DFS losses back. I made money in DFS the first 2 weeks, and I'm still going north. Arrow pointing up, and we're going to point it up tonight.
Keep going up.
Woo. All right, let's get into it, Bobbywow. Matchups sheet. Let's take a look at the snap counts for the Ravens. Derrick Henry, 60-40 with Justice Hill right now. The noteworthy absence from snaps is Keaton Mitchell. Not being used.
He was kind of like potentially going to be one of those like change of pace guys behind Henry, but it's not happening yet. Not happening.
And it's really Justice Hill. So like Keaton Mitchell is a turd for the slate because he can catch one pass. He could do something like in the turd zone. Not something I'm interested in. And like beyond that, Justice Hill does get in the game though. It made more sense that he got in the game a little bit more last week with Derrick Henry kind of getting shut down. But again, ignore what happened to Derrick Henry. The Browns are shutting every running back down. And I think the Ravens game planned aware of that, and they did a pass-heavy game plan last week. This game is not like that.
Yes and no. Like I totally think you're right in terms of the defense, but I do think the game script could potentially favor Justice Hill more than it normally would in just like a normal given week. So he's certainly in play here against the Lions team that can put up points in a hurry. Yeah.
So what happens with the Ravens, of course, is if they're falling behind in the game at all, and the Lions are definitely a team that could put the Ravens on the defensive, effectively putting them behind, then that's when Derrick Henry kind of gets put on the shelf a little bit. And we don't see those big Derrick Henry games, but I don't actually expect that. At the worst, in my mind, this will be kind of a close game. And as long as the game is close, you'll see Derrick Henry in there in important situations. Yep. He's always live for 2 or 3 touchdowns. So Derrick Henry will be one of the upside captains on the slate. Absolutely worthy of it. The question you and I will have to sit and decipher is, do we want to avoid Henry and Lamar together? Maybe a little. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know that you want to rule it out anywhere.
Yeah, not rule out, but maybe slight avoid. We'll see. We did really good with that one game with, I think it was Jordan Love and
Josh Jacobs.
And Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that fading them together worked out really nice.
This one's a little different because
I think you guys are worrying way too much. The ownership caps are much more of a thing that you want to be aggressively doing on main slates and that showdowns, the way ownerships work, it's weird and different, and just doing a straight cap is not really something that I think always needs to be done. It's weird because when you switch your captain, ownership of the rest of the lineup is less relevant if you have a low on captain. So the whole thing is not quite the same with showdowns. There's much less of a organized, specific approach to this. You really got to pay attention to your captains and build lineups for game scripts. So let's continue on here, Bobbywow. Mark Andrews getting all the still, likely still out probably for this game. So Andrews hasn't done anything, but I don't think we should ignore him either. He's definitely dropped a couple of touchdowns. Charlie Kohler, no targets on the season. Is that somebody we got to worry about, Bobbywow?
I don't know. I not really. To me, I just don't know how the heck Mark Andrews has only caught 2 passes.
He dropped a few.
I know, but even then, like
I've watched.
He's the only tight end. He's the pass catching tight end on a team that has supported multiple tight ends in games before. It's just wild to me.
The key in my mind is let's effectively treat it as if he hasn't had terrible games. It's Mark Andrews. He's the only tight end on the slate. Forget what happened the first 2 weeks. Irrelevant. He's still a very viable play this week. That's my take on it.
And he is cheap.
Ignore. Yeah. Got the price a little lower. He's still going to get targets in the end zone. Take the bargain on Andrews. Yeah. The prop looks good. I like it. I'm down with it. Also, I didn't get him in a fantasy league that I'm in because I overslept. I was supposed to pick him up Saturday morning, and somebody else has him, and I just know that that's going to come back and burn me. So fantasy football karma is pointing towards a good game for Mark Andrews.
He will be chalky, though. That's really the conundrum.
Oh, Devontae Walker had a big game last week. Played some snaps. I think he got a touchdown. He's a turd that popped already once. Yep. Similarly, Tylan Wallace with a massive on the field snap count last week, Bobbywow. A couple of these turds are out there on the field for the Ravens.
Yeah, it's been a weird script for the Ravens, but they're out there. You definitely want to sprinkle them in.
And we all know Rashad Bateman is the classic showdown only guy. Note that none of these guys are getting a lot of targets so far. It doesn't matter. Things can change from game to game. But will Andrews be chalky at captain? No. He will definitely not, as you will see. But Zay Flowers will get some ownership as captain. And Zay Flowers is very interesting here. Again, in a game script where it's a high-flying affair, everybody can score. That's where Zay Flowers gets his best involvement.
And I think Andrews you'll be shocked when you see his number, his captain percentage. He's going to carry some ownership.
Well, it gives us an easy avoid if he's going to be super high owned. I don't really want
his price. It's all about the price because look, Mark Andrews is cheaper than DeAndre Hopkins on the slate. He's the cheapest legitimate option on the slate.
Really?
His prop at his price is like double the guys in his range. It's insane. That's how inexpensive he is.
Did they overreact?
Yes.
Andrews. Let's see in the flex. Andrews 4,400. Whoa. Yeah. Wow. And he's propping at 9.4. I don't know. Sam Laporte is pretty good too here with 5,400, 11.5. So there's a couple good plays on that side of the
plenty of inexpensive options.
Yeah, that we'll have to take a look at. All right. So I think turds from the Ravens that we got to pay attention to, all these wide receivers, Bateman, Hopkins, and Devontae all have that turdly upside that probably isn't going to see more than a few targets, a handful, but could lead to big touchdowns. That's the way Ravens play football. Yes. Jason Clements, welcome to DFS Army. And of course, we have tutorials on the NFL page on DFS Army. You just go to the NFL landing page and click on the basic training tab, which is in the center of the page, and you will find all of the tutorials, everything that we do. We do live streams, live Dom station setups. It's all there. So you can follow along with the lives and get a feel for how to use this tool. You should not be using these tools without having watched a bunch of the live demonstrations. You will be much better at it. We're all about teaching here. All right, Bobbywow, shifting gears to the Lions. Season, pretty even split between Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yeah, it really hasn't changed much from years past here.
Yeah, we're not seeing any sort of situation. Now, I will say that the Ravens have been giving up a lot of targets and receptions to various running backs on the year. So it does favor the skill set of Jahmyr Gibbs here. But I would say if the Lions are at the goal line, it's probably going to be Montgomery in there for a few of those occasions. So the upside in terms of touchdowns will be split between these two guys.
Yep, and Monty's cheap enough to where he's viable on DraftKings in that scenario, even though he isn't a pass catcher. Detroit is so good at getting so many people involved in offense, and both those guys will be involved.
Yeah. At wide receiver, Isaac Tesla, Khalif Raymond kind of splitting that third wide receiver role a little bit. So I think Isaac Tesla seems like the better turd to me. What do you think?
Definitely. Yeah. And he's now had back-to-back weeks with just like highlight reel catches toward the end of the game. But the Lions have said they want to get him more involved. I think Tesla we'll see him kind of grow a little bit each and every week. So I would definitely prefer him.
Now, Amon-Ra in the slot. Slot wide receivers have been feasting on Baltimore. This Amon-Ra has to be rubbing his hands together for this matchup. This is the spot for the Sun God. He's one of my favorite captains. He's going to be somebody I build a lot around in this one.
How could you not? He scored 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, he went nuts. But even Ivan's got a good turd. Brock Wright. Well, yeah, he always seems to find his way into a touchdown on a slate like this. But
scored last week.
Jamo Williams, full 15% target share on the season. We know what he does. Jameson, he's going to break the slate or he's not. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of in between. He's a deep ball guy. He's probably not going to see more than 6 targets in a game. 7. Unless it's that kind of game, which it could be. I could see this being that kind of game, Bobbywow. You know, one of those ones that just gets crazy and everybody's having a party.
Absolutely.
Tight end. So Ivan rightly points out, it seems that Brock Wright is like always in there for a special moment. Sam Laporta, though, remains the big dog, 14% target share on the season. Was really big. Last week got a bunch of targets. I think he had a pretty decent game last week in that big offensive explosion that happened for the Lions in general.
Yeah, Laporta looked good, and Brock Wright also caught a touchdown. So
yeah, Brock Wright getting in there, getting some tutties. So Brock Wright, turd of the slate, turd worthy. Sam Laporta, more of a legit play. Maybe Wiz Khalifa in some lineups just for shits and gigs, Bobbywow. Like,
to me, I'm going Tesla as my turd of the week over Wright, but all those guys absolutely in play.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at some of these ownerships and see where things are falling here on DraftKings. So I've got DraftKings loaded up on the domination station. Let's sort the captain ownership. And, look at that. Zay Flowers is above Amon-Ra, a little cheaper. So the clear-cut top 4. Wow, you're right about Mark Andrews, too. That's really interesting. So the affordability guys. Prediction right now, Bobby.
Talk to me.
Does the captain, and everybody watching, pay attention here. Does the captain from this slate come from one of the studs. 10K, Lamar, Zay, Amon-Ra, Henry, Jameer. I'm not even going to include Goff. He doesn't belong in that conversation.
Oh, man.
No, not doing that. Or does it come from, because the output is going to be or at least my prediction, and I assume you're kind of with me, is this is a high scoring affair and a lot of people are doing well. So the cheap captain approach, where it's like an Andrews, a Laporta, even J-Mo Williams, or who's a little cheaper, or a Bateman type. Does it come from one of those that allows you to build this lineup with a lot of expensive other players in it? Or no, Amon-Ra, too good. Derrick Henry, too good. Lamar, too good. Whoever it is. Do you think it comes from a stud or a mid?
It's tough not to love like a Lamar at home here. Lamar's ceiling is just so absurdly high that I still think it probably comes from Lamar. But there's more ownership on those, mid-priced guys at captain than we see in most given weeks. So clearly there's opportunities here for one of those guys to be captain. I just think there's enough value in the flex where you could still have 3 legit studs in your lineup and feel really good about the lineup as a whole. It's not like completely top heavy, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Could Isaac Tesla be the marquee, what was that guy's name? I forget. Traquan. Could he be the Traquan Smith of Monday Night Football, September 22nd, 2025?
He could be. I don't have a ton of confidence in him, but again, if I'm paying for a turd, if I'm really going that low, it'll be Tesla.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so your basic captain's Lamar. If I have Lamar at captain, Bobbywow, do I need him? Do I need a pass catcher with him? I think yes, but what do you think?
I guess, but you better be including every single pass catcher on the Ravens, because if you did Lamar plus one, can you imagine doing Lamar plus one and then unchecking Devontae Walker? That's the kind of stupid stuff that happens with Lamar. So that's why I hate forcing, because inevitably you miss guys like that who, if you don't have them, you just ruled yourself out of a win, even though Lamar is captain. I'm talking about last week. That's the craziness that Lamar brings. Like, I don't think you have to force it. I really don't. But you can boost it, and someone's going to show up there. Just as long as you're keeping all these crazy names checked at the bottom. Yeah,
Tylan Wallace has got to be in that mix. Devontae Walker, yes, got to be in the mix.
Hill needs to be in that mix.
Yeah. Not Henry.
No, I agree.
I think I would do a +1. I'll make the I always make the quarterback exception. I don't play quarterbacks at captain. I do make the exception for a Lamar or a Hurts or a somewhat pure running quarterback, Josh Allen, that kind of thing. So Lamar does get the exception to the rule break, but obviously very expensive, and the lineup you can build with him doesn't look that great. Let's take a look at
sorry, one more thing. Just look at the prop projection discrepancy between Lamar and the next 5 guys. You sort by salary, I think.
If you sort by salary, it's more dramatic. Jahmyr Gibbs is at 17.
That's crazy. That is insane discrepancy there, and it's not that much salary. We're not compensating for 6.5 points of salary there. It's $1,200. So Lamar is far and away the top projection and the best play here.
Yeah, but I would push back only in the sense that the ceiling for an Amon-Ra or a Derrick Henry, even Zay Flowers to a certain extent, and definitely Jahmyr Gibbs, they do have a high. I would put them in a higher ceiling. Like the mean projection being one thing, it's always going to be higher for a quarterback in general. But we all know, Amon-Ra can pop for 40 pretty quick.
Yeah, well, we saw it last week. Absolutely. I'm just saying, Lamar is an absolute stud.
Yeah, he's the man. Looking at ownership, so obviously Lamar going to be super high owned, and I'm trying to look for any kind of discrepancy in ownership where there's like a bargain or an unusually high owned situation. Hopkins a little low here at 5%, way overpriced for what he is, which is really very, very touchdown dependent usually. Like I'd rather look at the prop for DeAndre Hopkins relative to Lamar.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. Exactly, he's double.
Yeah, but that said, Sam Laporte is right there with him, and just as good of a overall projection, probably better than Mark Andrews actually, and not that much more expensive.
100 rating from Jesus, nonetheless.
Yeah, the like here is for Laporta, so let's not ignore him at all. Ravens defense low owned. Rashad Bateman maybe too high owned, 33%. So, ownership goes up. Everybody hoping for that showdown touchdown for Rashad Bateman. That happens all the time.
Oh yeah, he's a showdown king. Rashad. Yeah. We're not late enough into the season where people have given up on guys yet. So, Bateman, who hasn't done anything, super highly owned, obviously cheap too. Andrews, same way. If this was 5 weeks from now, these guys would have minimal ownership, even though their price is so low. Yeah. But yeah, all in play here. I think the one caution is Jared Goff and this Lions team on the road. I think that is kind of like what's weighing in the balance. Like that will determine, whether or not we see a Ravens onslaught here, because Goff and this team, they haven't played as well on the road.
They definitely haven't, and they haven't for traditionally. It's been a while, right? They're in the dome.
And Baltimore is not a bad defense either.
No, they're a good defense. I don't see Baltimore getting shut down in any way, shape, or fashion in this game. I think their offense, no matter how the game script goes, regardless of what Detroit is doing, I do see Baltimore not being shut down. The difference for me would be, let's say this. Like, I don't see really, anything can happen. But let's say Detroit is struggling on offense. I think the result of that will be a Derrick Henry nuclear explosion. That's the version of the game that plays out where it's Derrick Henry just beating them into no resistance. You know what I mean? That's how that would play out to me. If
maybe, I don't know, because Detroit isn't all that bad either up front. You got Aiden Hutchinson looked actually really good.
No, but if they're losing the game, and if it's 21-0 and it's the third quarter or 23-3, and it's like already the second half, and you're like, oh man, the Lions just don't have it today. Some days they come out and they just don't have it. And that's that script, Baltimore will shift to just extreme Derrick Henry, beat them into submission. Right? No one can stop Derrick Henry in those game scripts. No one, no team, and certainly not a Lions team that has been torched by running backs already all year. There's nothing about that defense that's scary. Even DeAndre Swift.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. Nothing about him that's scary.
It's nothing about him that I'm going to sit here as a DFS player and go, I can't play X position against Detroit. No.
Oh, sure. Of course not. It's not.
Yes. That's what I mean. I don't mean they're the worst defense ever. I just mean there's nothing about that team that I look at and go, oh, this great cornerback is going to shut somebody. They don't have any of that. They haven't shut the run down. DeAndre Swift had a pretty decent game against them, even in a terrible game script. Like, they're not that.
I don't know, man. They were pretty good last week, and they weren't all that bad against the Packers at Lambeau the first week. Jacobs, I think, averaged like 3 yards a rush, barely got in the end zone.
When has Jacobs in his career ever averaged more than 3 yards in a rush in a game?
I just say it feels like they're a little better maybe than we're leading on here. That's all. And Henry's been bad, but yes, I do agree with the overall sentiment.
Yeah, Henry's going to smash these guys. If it goes a certain way, if it goes that way, there's also a version of this game, like I said, that plays out. And by the way, Sauce absolutely. Are we not realizing this? Sauce did shut down Mike Evans.
Sauce got bailed out by injury. Please. Oh my gosh, Evans caught a touchdown.
He wasn't doing anything. He caught a touchdown. So what? That's not what I'm saying. You can't stop every touchdown. I'm saying like they were throwing to Ibuka. They couldn't get it to Mike Evans in that game. No, he had a mid-game at best. You definitely didn't want to have Mike Evans yesterday. But
I do think it's funny that everyone's remembering.
Yeah, that's what everybody remembered. That of all why that of all things does anybody remember that?
You did emphasize it quite a bit. You were
why is it all right, all right. Well, I felt it and I believed it and I
you weren't even
felt
wrong.
it
You
came
weren't
true.
wrong.
I feel like I was correct. Like I still feel like I'm correct. Are we like that's not the one to troll me on? I feel correct about that. He was being shut down, but he scored a touchdown. Okay, go watch the game. Wiz Khalifa 2000, Devontae Walker 2% owned at 1600 coming off the touchdowns. Bobbywow.
You're gonna have to have one of these guys in your lineup just because it's so chalky. Every other turd is so chalky here. And by turd, I mean like super low price guys.
Yeah, if you can get Devontae Walker coming off like just got a touchdown last week, acceptable player, 1% owned. Yes, is Tesla probably a better play? Sure, but that's the kind of turd you need in your lineup to pluck and see if it works out.
We've already seen Wiz Khalifa. Absolutely, he's done it before.
Wiz Khalifa, doable. Brock Wright has scored 2 touchdowns in a game like this in the past.
Yeah, he's usually not that expensive, but yeah, he scored last week too. He's in play.
Does not project well.
The Lions do crazy things, man.
Yeah. Justice Hill, 21% owned at 2,800. That's acceptable. I get that. That he's probably a little underpriced for what he's going to do, and his props are really good for 2,800.
Yeah, it's tough to advocate for Brock Wright over Justice Hill at virtually the same price.
Yeah,
but I get it.
And then, of course, Mark Andrews. Let's take a look at what it feels like to build a lineup when you start putting the numbers on screen. So we talked about 2 versions, Bobbywow, of a lineup like this. One starting with like an expensive guy up top and one with the cheap. So let's see what it feels like when you start with Lamar. 64-60 left on the board just by captaining Lamar.
You want to go cheap or expensive pass catcher? I would say either Zay or Andrews was where I would go next.
Zay is definitely not cheap. He's not that expensive. All right, we go with Zay. Fine. Actually, Zay and Andrews. Let's double it down. 6,500. So with the expensive Zay Flowers, a salary saver in Mark Andrews, we're still down to 6,500. So we're in this zone here where you can just kind of like.
What if you went ASB Laporta? What do you have left?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. There's not even enough for and you get Laporta. You got 37. Okay, 3,700 left. This is the Justice Hill, Tylan Wallace, Justice Hill, Khalif zone. So you're probably this lineup probably with a Justice Hill in there. I don't hate it.
Definitely deeper tournament type of lineup there. I don't know. It feels like leaving that much on the table, but yeah, I like it.
Where can you spend it? There's nowhere really to spend it. That's the get a kicker instead of Andrews. Laporta, Montgomery instead of Laporta. It's very difficult to spend the extra 900. Leave a little over. But yeah, that version. So now let's see what it feels like when you do a similar concept, but built around a lower cost player. So give me a low price player, Bobbywow, that you're kind of like feel pretty decent about as a captain. You're not even upset about it. I'm not mad. Is it Andrews, Bateman?
Everyone's
Laporta?
got Andrews. Let's go Laporta. It seems like Andrews the popular option. Let's go Laporta.
Yeah, so you put Laporta up there. Now we got 83.80 left. I think you choose between Lamar and Henry rather than try to squeeze both in.
I agree. I'm going Lamar.
All right, so let's go back to Lamar. I do like it as a Lamar game, right? So fine, Lamar Jackson in there. Do we get a turd, like a Lamar turd in the lineup?
What about Bateman? Andrews is the easy call, but Bateman's a little bit cheaper even. I think his ceiling's higher.
All right, so you get Bateman going in that one, a little differentiator too. 8,700 left.
Now, do you feel, with a cheaper guy at captain for the Lions, do you feel bound to Jared Goff in the flex?
No.
Okay.
I never feel bound to Goff because I feel that when you're playing Goff, you're giving up Amon-Ra. And so that's kind of like a decision that needs to be pondered. You play, I don't know how you're getting both in there. Now, Amon-Ra with Laporta, though, you kind of want Goff in that lineup. Let's see what happens. You put in Goff, 6,300. Okay. Leaves you Montgomery, who I don't absolutely adore.
Ugh.
Yeah, I don't love that last spot, but I'm just trying to feel out if I don't even feel like I got that much more studliness in this lineup by going down to Laporta. You get a little bit more, but the way to do it would really be to kind of like punt this harder, go back to like a Justice, maybe. No, still not enough. Still not enough savings.
Goff really, Goff is going to be the decision on this slate.
As soon as you have Goff in there, it really does change a lot. So the other way to go would do you want Goff or Jahmyr Gibbs?
Right. Yeah, if you put Goff in there, then Gibbs instead of Goff, then you could get like
I like this one though. Lamar, Zay Flowers,
Tesla.
Laporta, Goff, Amon-Ra, and Tesla. And now I can adjust.
I like that. I do like that one a lot.
Yeah, I don't hate this at all. I kind of like it. Devontae, you want to go Devontae instead of Tesla? Either way works. I kind of like that. I'm going to put that one in. Yeah, I kind of like that, Bobbywow. All right, let's shift gear to FanDuel. So obviously, same team, same situation, same usage, same everything. FanDuel has adjusted their Showdown. Now they're kind of matching what DraftKings did, a little copy and paste from the DraftKings code for FanDuel. That's what's up. Imitation, number one form of flattery, I guess. I believe we had a sub absolutely crush FanDuel yesterday too. I don't have the screenshot, but I saw a 10K or a 15K takedown. I was like, man, and it was just like a lot of the core, and it was a good week for FanDuel.
Yeah, it was.
Let's take a look at the MVP column. So before we look at the ownerships, we'll just do a predictor. This will be easy though. I think on FanDuel, we're going to see, because you have strong running backs on this one too, a nice level mix, maybe 35% Lamar, maybe 20%, 25% Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it's going to be Lamar. He'll be the top guy easily.
Some Goff and some Jahmyr, I would say, and then a smattering of the rest. Let's see what we got. Lamar 35, Henry 15, Jared Goff 10, then Amon-Ra, the rest of the turds, and then your interestingly, maybe I get why Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't project as well on FanDuel, but fairly low.
Too
Jahmyr
low.
Gibbs.
Too low if you're playing 150.
Priced. He's very expensive. He's probably not priced right. He's priced the same as Jared Goff. I don't know if I love it, but playable there.
Yeah, I think the lesson here though is Gibbs has outscored everybody on the slate before. He's put up 50 plus points. I think silly for the Millie is Monty. I think we've seen games where Monty has scored 3 touchdowns at 11K in this new format on FanDuel. I think it's interesting enough. Again, more of an MME if you're playing 150 lineups, but both those running backs should be part of your player pool.
And then down here, Mark Andrews. I would include Laporta and Mark Andrews as silly for the Millie flyers.
MVPs?
Yeah, silly for the Millie. Mark Andrews gets touchdowns.
MVPs?
Yeah, sure. Remember, you're paying down. At 9K, if I use a player at that price and he gets 2 touchdowns, which is in the realm of shit that could happen, even with a Mark Andrews or Laporta.
It is. It absolutely is.
Then the rest of this is the new FanDuel rewards you for paying down at MVP, Bobbywow. It's not like before. I know,
but it's half point PPR, so it's still different.
Yeah, he'll need 2 touchdowns. Oh, there's no doubt you need not one but 2 touchdowns to get there. But we've seen tight ends do it on FanDuel in that spot because the tight end is more likely to score a touchdown. what is this? Monday Night Football. Yeah. All right. So we'll load it up and take a look. So yeah, Derrick Henry rightly I don't know if it's rightly, but Derrick Henry priced the highest.
Definitely not rightly. Lamar
is a lock button. But if Derrick Henry takes over the game, there's a version where it's Derrick Henry and you'd rather have Jared Goff in there.
Yeah, there is a version. It's
not likely. It's not the way I see it.
But there is a version. If FanDuel makes it easy for us, though, you really don't want to play both these guys on FanDuel.
Tyquan Thornton MVP took it down last night on FanDuel. Did really? Yeah. Oh, that was a weird game.
That was the nastiest game ever.
Yeah. Tucker Kraft already was the nut tight end on a showdown slate as well. So I'm not going to take it away. I think that I don't mind this idea of going down here and plucking a touchdown scoring Laporta or Mark Andrews, or a touchdown making Montgomery. You're right.
Yeah, he's probably my favorite. But yeah, no, you're right. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah. Acceptable. Justice Hill price 3,400, little affordability there, and then it gets into absolute garbaggio. Justice Hill at 3,400. That is a very low price for a guy who can also get a touchdown. Is a running back, even though not super likely to do it. I'm just going to plug him in here to see what it feels like with that in. But 9,300 left. Who are the must-haves here on FanDuel? It's probably Goff for 11K.
Probably. This is more of a cash heap. Like Gibbs probably is another. I know he's expensive, but can get it done with Goff and has rushing touchdown upside.
Let's put Derrick Henry in there too and just YOLO.
Sweet Lord.
Pick a zero.
Brock Wright. Oh, no, he's a little too much. He's $200.
Pick a zero. No, I'm kidding. I don't think you want to do that. Like I said, to me, I don't think Lamar and Derrick Henry should really probably be at those two prices.
It would take a lot for them to be in the same lineup on FanDuel tonight.
I'm not sure I'm feeling them together, but I do like, again, the tight ends here. So I don't mind going some of that. And JMO. So you could just make a nice little lineup. Even with Lamar in there.
I like that lineup a lot, yeah.
Yeah, even with Lamar in there, it's pretty good. Even with Lamar up top. Do I want Derrick Henry lineups? Definitely, right? Do I want Amon-Ra? For sure. Enze. So, but we just got to mix them up a little bit.
And I definitely would not rule out Gibbs and Monty. Someone was asking about that. I would not rule that out. You're correct.
Don't need to rule it out. Not at the price of Montgomery. I think part of the reason is that Montgomery is really inexpensive.
Yep.
So they're not charging us. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy that I like less. If I'm paying up here, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, and ownership reflects that. So it really is it's kind of more of a leverage play.
Yeah. Let me just give one more glance at the props here. So yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs, he's at 15. Amon-Ra 13. This is what happens. Wide receivers don't get touchdowns. They tend to be a little, or their touchdown prop is lower. This price on Jared Goff is very low. I don't really have a feel for what FanDuel's supposed to be though anymore, because they redid their salaries, and so what looks low at first glance, I get a better feel for it because this year is different. Like, is 11K low? I don't know. Montgomery 7,600 touchdown scorer. Laporta here, really good props.
Yeah, I think we covered it.
Yeah, Bateman can get a touchdown too. So these are the names you don't want to ignore on FanDuel as well. We want to get Hopkins in some lineups, Bateman in some lineups. We're running mass multi-entry. These are the names you want to be sifting through. Tesla.
Yep.
A little Brock Wright, a little DeAndre Hopkins, a little bit of Rashad Bateman. All these guys who can get a touchdown, but probably aren't the kind of players that are going to, get 12 targets and dominate a game. But it doesn't matter. 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns for Bateman. Nuts all day.
Yeah, imagine showing this price list to somebody toward the end of last season. Rashad Bateman, the same price as Hopkins, and toward Justice Hill.
That's crazy.
Those are the guys you want to take chances on. Rashad, the Rashad Batemans of the world.
Rashad Bateman was crushing showdowns last year.
And he was a hot target in best ball, like coming into the season.
Yeah.
Even he was a hot target. Like, he's a good football player is what I'm saying. He showed last year that he belongs.
I'm trying to remember in best ball who he was bunched up with. He was bunched up in like a Charles Tillman. He was like ahead of that little secondary category of like Quentin Johnston. Of course, QJ worked out a lot better, but he was in that secondary group of, like when you started picking guys that you're just hoping would come up from your fantasy bench every once in a while and help you out in a game, but you're not relying on them at all.
Right. They got that upside where in a couple weeks exactly.
In hindsight, Quentin Johnston was the best of those.
Through 2.5 weeks. Yeah.
It
hasn't been.
I would venture to say, I'm confident to say that it was the best of them, and it's not going to change.
It is an unbelievable amount of confidence through 3 weeks of Quentin Johnson after just you completely hating him forever and ever and ever before this.
Such a ball dropper. You gotta adjust your thoughts. Like, he's such a.
I know, but you did this. You already started apologizing to Spencer Rattler on the tournament tactics on Saturday, and which was crazy because we saw again Spencer Rattler absolutely.
I said, man, no, the rattlesnake. He's less terrible, and then the terrible shows up. Yeah, it's not like I was playing rattlesnake last. So come on, I didn't play him. I said he had an acceptably not that horrible game in week 2 at home. That's another thing to keep in mind. These guys go on the road and they stink.
Yes.
Like these kind of players, they don't do it on the road. They just stink. They can sometimes do it at home. Like those backups. Same thing happened with Browning. Maybe at home in Cincinnati. On the road, no.
God,
Yeah, QJ. I was talking to. Well, that's irrelevant to the slate. So we'll talk about that another time, guys. That's about it. That should do it for this one. We built a lineup here. Yeah, so we did a little bit of everything, guys. Showdown tonight. Dom stations locked and loaded. Ownerships are in place. I'm building for a high-scoring affair, personally.
Yeah.
That's the script that I see.
Or at least a balanced game. You're building for a competitive game.
Yeah. Yeah. Competitive. 2 amazing offenses. This is a fun game to watch. We get to watch Baltimore and Detroit. I mean, AFC, this could be a preview. I'm not saying for sure, but it could be a Super Bowl preview. Both of these teams are very much in the Super Bowl aspirations categories and have real chances of getting there. So this should be a fun one to watch. So again, your favorite captain on DraftKings, if you had to choose one, is who?
Oh man, you go ahead. It's a tough one. I don't feel a major stand here.
I like pass catchers. So I do like this idea of going down to Laporta and Andrews. I do. I
think that'll be the most popular. To me, if people will start with those 2 and building the lineups, maybe not a captain, but those 2 will be the first 2 plugged into the flex, the field.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't think that'll be the highest owned, but I just think it's a fun way to build, and it's an exciting way to build. I like building around. I still will always prefer, like, give me Amon-Ra there as a captain. That's the one I'm excited to play. When I put Lamar in there, I feel like I'm just doing the donkey thing that the whole field is doing.
Yeah, I feel that too. I kind of like Bateman. Trying to take some shots on Bateman in deeper tournaments. I think he's a guy that could, if he booms there, and he can at 5K, really interesting. Silly for the millie. So I think Bateman, I'll have shares of him, and I think Jammo too, another guy. Again, if you're trying to take a tournament down, I kind of like having a captain. In your
runs of the optimizer, you're running 150 for this contest. And we're now just dealing in exposure percentages. So forget about building exposure percentages. What amount of exposure are you looking to get to someone like a Tesla who is projected at 13%? Same question for Devontae Walker, who is 2%, but we saw him get touchdowns last week. maybe Tylan Wallace, like, and 40% on Bateman. I don't know. So how do you feel about
right
exposures?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like Bateman, I kind of like using it captain and going underweight in the flex, because when Bateman is showing up, it's usually when he's having a big game, right?
Yeah.
Like a guy like Tesla, you're hoping he just has, 3 or 4 catches and a touchdown. That's why overweight in the flex on him makes some sense to me. Even these other guys, like the 2 guys you mentioned, Devontae Walker, I know he scored 2 last week, but when you roster him, it's a couple catches is what you're looking for, or 1 touchdown.
1,600 and at 16 and 1,200 for Tesla and Devontae. Yeah, we just 3 receptions, 7 fantasy points. You're super happy.
Yep. So yeah, I like, again, Bateman, a guy. I'll be overweight in the captain, underweight in the flex.
Yeah, that flex ownership is absurd. Justice Hill, though, I feel better about Justice Hill weirdly at 2,800, even at 30% owned.
Yeah.
Why do I feel better about it? I don't know, because I feel like if this game plays that high-flying affair way, it will be Justice Hill in the game on those passing downs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be
Dirty Mermaid thinks it's going to be a low-scoring game. Maybe.
Could be.
Anything can happen. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Showdown breakdown, Monday night football action. Again, Dom Station locked and loaded. If you're not a member of DFS Army, code Geek will get you a 10% discount on the NFL or VIP subscription levels, where you can have all our tools, participate, attack them, get involved, and even just attacking these pocket mini maxes. Bobbywow was very upset with me taking first place. He got second.
I lost sleep.
I was not happy about it. I was DMing you the whole evening, Bobbywow. You just were not even around.
I was hiding. I was ignoring.
Is that what you were just? Because I was like, man, I hope he's not mad at me. I hope he's not unfriending me right now on the screen. Like, uncheck Geek on your Dom Station.
I'm crying, being consoled by my wife, because once again, Geek. No, it was awesome.
In those moments,
those contests are fantastic. By the way, we need, the Army is already just plastered all over the leaderboard. That is the best way to get some exposure to the DS. It was, I think, a 1 cent contest.
There's the penny one. I think of another member won the 10-cent one. So another ticket did go to somebody yesterday. But like, guys, come on. I put in a total of like $30 into those. I've got $3,000 tickets already. What the hell's going on? Crazy. I just wish that lineup that I put in there had popped in my 750 or in my run for the the flea, instead of the crapola that I had in there. So it could have done a lot better. But that's going to do it, guys, for this one. We appreciate everybody hanging out. Like, subscribe. I will be back, of course, on Tuesdays with your DraftKings and FanDuel first looks. I've already looked. I'm excited. I've got a lot of takes on what happened in NFL Week 3. We've got clarity. It's all going to be revealed in those first look videos. So make sure you're subscribed to the DFS Army YouTube channel so that you'll get a notification when we drop those videos. And then we'll be back for the Showdown breakdown. We'll see. At this point, the Thursday night football game, Bobbywow, I'm still torn on whether I want to do those on Wednesday night or Thursday afternoon.
All right.
We will discuss it over the course of the week. And, of course, Friday at 5, Tournament Tactics with the whole crew. And Sundays, live before lock with Tattoo and Raz and Burns and Josiah. So a lot of content coming out here on the DFS Army YouTube channel, guys. Stick around, like, subscribe. Good luck tonight. Helmets up, everyone.